So to me, there's just two huge things about this watch, because this is a green Nautilus. This is the watch that causes all the memes. There are several accounts on Instagram that would be out of business if this watch didn't exist. I'm not in Australia.
Nope.
You
escaped.
I escaped to LA, and I'm sitting here with Justin Gruenberg and Eric Koo in the least set up video scene ever to have what we call an organic conversation. Because look, you guys have such crazy watches at Loop This. We're always going through your inventory on Zoom and on pictures, and now I'm here. I had to see what you had in the bag. Have you got anything good apart from this one that we're about to reveal?
Yeah, so we're really all about bringing people what they want, and I think we have something really exciting coming, which is this guy right here. It's a green Nautilus 5711/14, and this will be going up on the site at no reserve.
This is just wild. This is the Loop This thing that I think has this ever happened before? That watches of this kind of notoriety I could get this for 20 grand. It's
in
possible.
theory, yeah.
I mean, when we woke up one morning and we had a consignor that sent us an email saying that he wanted to let go of the watch, we were quite surprised and thrilled that it happened that soon, since we launched. So we're super excited about this.
So tell me about that, because I'm not going to say trolled, but do you get some approaches from people that don't materialize? Because I think you'd said to me, this might be happening, but it also might not. When it came through, was there an extra zing of this was real? This actually...
Yeah, I mean, we get a lot of inquiries. Most of the inquiries turn into consignments. But, something like this that's really special and really in demand, we always look at it as this could be a long shot deal or something. And, all the cards fell into place and, this really happened. It's quite interesting, too, because this watch, the proceeds from this auction are actually going to an organization that is helping with COVID recovery in certain parts of Southeast Asia, especially with the indigenous people there, the community's been hit very hard by COVID. Yeah. And so the consignor, who wishes to remain anonymous, was very generous in allowing all the proceeds from this sale to go to a charitable endeavor.
So there's layer of sort of surreal, we're getting a green Nautilus, second layer of surreal, all the money's going to charity.
Yep.
We just need that third layer of, and it sold for $1 million.
Yeah. I mean, one interesting thing that Justin and I, when we were building the site, we were talking about, 95% of auction lots have reserves. And we were thinking about, why can't we do something and try this without reserve? And, we're, nearly 200 lots in right now. Everything's been at no reserve. And, the results kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah.
We would love to continue being able to do things that are just no reserve. And, we'll see what happens. But certainly this watch will be at no reserve.
So to me, there's just two huge things about this watch. Because this is a green Nautilus. This is the watch that causes all the memes. There are several accounts on Instagram that would be out of business if this watch didn't exist. Number one, tell me what makes this such a mythical beast, aside from the scarcity. And number two, what is this going to go for, price-wise?
I mean, there are a lot of reasons, I guess, to make it, special watch, considering, we've had crazy Nautilus prices for several years now. And then being the final leg of the production of the 5711 being the green, I think there's just a lot of hype around it for good and bad reasons. But I think that these prices are here to stay, and we think that we're going to see we gave an estimate of 300,000 to 400,000 for this watch, and we think it's going to do quite well. So
Wow. And on that day, is there any extra fanfare planned? Because, talk me through the process of a Loop This auction, because it's really simple. I mean, there's a lot of things I like about it. The thing I like the most about it is your transparency of the watches that are being offered, in terms of the little details, like having the time grapher readout so that you can see the performance of the watch. Really consistent, beautiful, clean photography. But what's the process? Is there going to be anything special with this one? And tell me what does this watch go through from here when it comes in to be consigned?
Like any consignment that comes through with us, there's a process that we do, which starts off with the inspection of the watch when it comes, to make sure that the condition's what we think it is. We go over that with the consignor. Then the watch gets photographed, and then we write a little introduction blurb about it, talk about the condition and a few noteworthy attributes. And this is an exciting watch, but at the same time, all of our consignments are important to us. And I don't really know, I think the user base will be really excited and enthusiastic about this watch, but in terms of our approach about what we're doing, I don't really know that there's going to be that much of a difference. You asked about what makes the green 5711 special, and I think one of the most important things is it was quite interesting that at the time when this watch was launched, we were in the middle of, the deep part of COVID, if you will, and it was quite interesting that Thierry Stern, was very open, talking in all these newspapers about the Nautilus, this phenomenon. And I think choosing this green color as a kind of a going away for this generation, really resonated with collectors. And, it's a beautiful watch. And I think because of that and the kind of mainstream press that the release of this watch attracted, it made for a perfect storm.
Yeah. And I mean, we're sitting here now with it. It's one of these things where, and I have to admit something, when I posted yesterday that I had a new watch alert and it was a green Nautilus, I was lying. And the fact that the hashtag blessed wasn't picked up, that was my tell. I'm never going to hashtag blessed any new watch alert, even if it's a green Nautilus. So guys, by the way, I don't have it. This could be yours. It could be mine. If I wanted to be divorced and live in a caravan, I could probably sell my part of the house and maybe afford it. I don't think I want it that much, but it is actually, I have to say, the pictures don't do it justice, because this is a really mercurial shade of green. I would struggle to describe what kind of green this is. It's sort of mossy and it's got a lot of gray in it. It's a really unusual green.
It's quite interesting, because when you photograph the watch, when you look on Instagram, a lot of the images of the watch, they look kind of grayish.
Yes.
But then there's also, in the right light, it's decidedly like a moss green and a really, really beautiful shade of green. So it's almost like a chameleon in that the colors kind of change depend on what the lighting is like.
How would you describe it, Justin, if you had to give that a green adjective? What sort of green is that?
I was, when I first saw the images of it online, I heard some people say that it was too gray. And then as soon as I opened the package, because I was actually the one that, when it came in, I was like, I got to be the first to
open it.
And
it came in like any other watch, didn't it? It wasn't it didn't come with an armored guard or...
No.
So I was actually quite surprised at the radiance of the green color. So I actually really loved this color, where I thought it was going to be too gray. In the end, I'm somewhat disappointed that I didn't buy it, that it's a consignment,
And is there that choice when a watch comes in? I suppose all the Loop This watches, they come in for that reason. But do you ever buy a consignment off someone directly, or?
I mean, as much as we'd love to, I think part of the thing that excites people about consigning to our platform is that you don't know the result. And there've been some pretty great results that have happened. And I think a big allure of this is for people that, hey, maybe I'll get more than I expect or something. So, we haven't really been doing much of that. Everything's been going on the site, and the consignor is always excitedly following until the seconds count down until the auction ends.
Now tell me about, because look, we are stringing this out because there's so many other questions around Loop This, and we're using this as a focal point, but while I hold it and just get as much time as I can with it. But tell me about some surprising results from Loop This on both sides, because I suppose when you're watching this video as a buyer, you're like, tell me about the bargains. Should I watch this every day to see if there's something that slips through? And I suppose if you're a seller, you're thinking, I want stellar results. So give me a couple of both.
I mean, one recent result that we felt kind of was very attractive for the buyer was we had a really, really mint Rolex Submariner 16610, had a sticker on the back, and the watch didn't come with papers, but it was like virtually unused, and it ended up hammering at 9,500, which including the premium, I guess is around 11,000 or 10,000 something, and that's quite a fair price for that watch, I think. A lot of things do really well.
What year was that watch?
I think like
Mid-90s.
2000, late 90s.
Yeah.
So
That's
that
under
was like
market. It's a little under market.
yeah, that was like a really nice buy. There's been some other things also at various price points that we thought were like good buys for collectors. A couple of the vintage Cartier pieces, I think, went a little bit lower than what
Was
I
it
would have
Basculante,
expected.
I think?
The Basculante
Yeah.
was quite reasonable.
Yeah. But that's inherently the game with auction. It's like you roll the dice and see where.
I just
see
don't
what
think
number
many
comes
people are
out.
winning in high-end watches in any game at the moment. So if there's a game in town where you can actually win from time to time, it's certainly gonna draw people, isn't it? To keep coming back to look.
I mean, ultimately, both the buyers and the sellers are our clients, and we have to strike a balance of keeping both sides happy, so that there's a continuous supply of consignments coming in, and that there's a continuous supply of customers that are buying from us.
Yeah, awesome. And what about the idea itself? When did you just guys sit here together and say, we're onto something here, we're going to do this? Because I know how long the process took. You told me about it a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
And then
at least 3 to 4 years
Yeah.
in the making, 2 years of development probably.
Yeah.
do you remember the night or the day you just decided, we're gonna put the effort into this. This is worth making happen?
I mean, I think I come down usually. I came down and spent a lot of time in LA, and Justin and I would always hang out. We'd be doing our business, but then also talking about what other things we could be doing. And really, as we said, the genesis of this was the fact that both Justin and I spend a lot of time doing business with auctions, and we had an idea of like, hey, if we were doing it, what would we change? What do we like? What do we not like about the existing model? And this was born out of this discussion, which happened over like a really long period of time.
Yeah. And now it peaks with this lot here, which is probably, I'd say it's the highest profile watch so far.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple other big ones.
Yeah.
A couple nice Journes.
Yeah, I saw the
The
resonance.
ruthenium resonance did quite well.
Yeah. What did that hammer for?
It hammered for 360, 370.
I mean,
It's already like 2 weeks ago, which is like a
we're
year
not
ago.
like sure that this is gonna be higher than that or not, but certainly this is an exciting piece that everybody is talking about right now.
Yeah, and like, I suppose to the consigner and to the seller here, we have to say, that's extraordinary. Like all things aside, to put up for not only for auction but also for a charitable cause is quite.
Yeah, I mean,
it's mind blowing, isn't it?
We definitely, thank you to our mystery consigner for having faith in us. And, what you're doing is really great. And I'm sure that the funds from this sale will go to great use.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to take some snaps of this, so we've got some B-roll for it all through this. But I imagine that this is going to be live around about the time that you're either reading this on Time & Tide or watching this on Time & Tide.
Sure.
So if you're bidding, good luck and go hard.
Bid early and bid often.